Hello, my name is Benjamin Hart. I'm an American attorney and the Managing Director of Integrity Legal here in Bangkok, Thailand. As the title of this video suggests, we're discussing banking in Thailand, and we're discussing this in the context of the frustrations folks can have. I just recently, on a personal note, I was dealing with an ATM the other day, and it basically just ate my card, and then on top of that, it froze up while it was supposed to be giving me my money, and it took my card. It didn't give me the money. I had to go around to the bank. I'm not going to go into which bank it was. To their credit, they were being perfectly polite, but I was not really thrilled that it was their machine that made the mistake, took my card, and didn't give me my money. Now, frankly, after almost a decade and a half here in Thailand, I've never had that problem before, so once every 15 years, I probably should just calm down and not be a hothead over it. Suffice it to say, and I'm not overly proud of it, I was pretty frustrated and I was not happy to have to be dealing with this, especially on a weekday where I had other things to deal with. The reason for the video is not to complain about them, and in fact, they got everything sorted out about as best as they could, and it was just kind of a bad situation all around. And frankly, I really am thankful to the bank employees for being as professional as they were. But the purpose of this video is it can be frustrating to deal with banking here. And one thing, especially for would-be expats, that is something to understand about Thailand. In a way, I think a lot of expats kind of think of the government as really the only headache they're going to be dealing with in Thailand. And government here isn't always a headache, but it certainly can be. Banking can be too, and I would say there's two main things going on here as to why I think that's the case. One, truly a language barrier. In my situation, I mean, my Thai is functional enough, but when you're dealing with, you're already kind of frustrated, and then you're dealing with, okay, all this documentation and numbers, your bank account number, you're this, you're that. That can be frustrating to be doing that in a second language, no matter, frankly, how fluent you are. And for many expats over here who have a very limited knowledge of Thai, banking can really become frustrating. And my opinion on that is, well, it's on you to have better Thai, frankly, than it is on them to be able to speak in perfect fluent English to deal with whatever issue you have at every bank branch in Thailand. I would say that is a reasonable position to have on that. That said, the second point of this, it's not just a language barrier thing, but I would say banks in Thailand are far more routine driven, if you will. I hesitate to say this, but I think it's a good adjective. They're quite a bit more Byzantine in their documentation and their requirements. They're almost government-like, depending on the bank you're dealing with, in all the documentation they need in order to deal with what I would call non-routine requests. If you just walk into a Thai bank and you have your bank book and you have your ID documents and you want to make a deposit or a withdrawal, it's actually a pretty straightforward endeavor. You may wait in line a minute and you'll go ahead and do that. But if you have to, like in my case where I'm dealing with an ATM card that's been eaten, I've also got to deal with the fact that the bank says I made a withdrawal when I didn't because it was in the process of giving me my money and it didn't come out of the machine. We had to rectify all of that. Again, to their credit, within a day they had it all sorted out. But again, this is you go. I had to go in, deal with, signed a bunch of documents, have to pay a new fee for a new ATM card, notwithstanding the fact that it's their machine that ate the ATM card. All of these things are a bit frustrating, especially for a Westerner when you're used to dealing with banking where you literally just walk in and everything's sort of, again, Thailand it's customer service oriented in the banking. They're very polite, very easy to deal with. It's just their procedures are far more meticulous. And that's not even to say that Western banks aren't meticulous. It's just not as smooth is the only real word I have for it. And folks that are over here, just be prepared, especially, again, would-be expats. This is something that I think every expat at some point in their time in Thailand has had an issue with, which is frustrations associated with banking in Thailand.